Hi, come on over and sit down. We're going to start a chapter book. Today, this is an old story. It's by Johnny Grill, and it's called Wooden Willie. It was made in 1927. So let's get started. Chapter 1. Now, Uncle Clem and beloved Belinda and all the rest of you nice dolls, said Marcella, tucking them into their little beds, Mama and I are going to the city to spend a week, so I want you to be very careful while I'm away. Do not play in any mud puddles and don't get your feet wet, or don't do anything that will give you the influenza. And when I come back, I will tell you all the lovely things I've seen in the city. So, with a loving pat for this doll and a hug for that one, Marcella left them safe and sound in the nursery. The dolls could hear her footsteps all the way down the stairs, and then the purr of the motor that whisked them away with Mama. And all the dolls hopped from the bed and ran to the window to watch the little mistress going down the road in her large car to the city. Okay, this one has no pictures, so I'm going to put it down. A whole week to romp through the house and have fun, the dolls thought, as the car turned the corner. And a whole week without a tea party. We don't have to have a dinner with Marcella, thought beloved Belinda. My, we're going to miss her. That evening, after the dolls had played all day, beloved Belinda sat in her bed and nudged Uncle Clem and motioned for him to be very quiet, and tiptoed to the window. Beloved Belinda and Uncle Clem raised the window very carefully so as not to disturb the other dolls, and catching hands, they jumped to the ground below. Both dolls turned over and over as they fell, but they were made out of cloth and stuffed with nice clean cotton. The fall didn't hurt them at all. They scrambled to their feet and again catching hands ran out the gate and across the garden into the deep woods. The dolls had been on adventures before, but they knew the best place in the whole wide world were adventures in the deep woods filled with fairies and everything. Perhaps the for sure person could never see a tiny house like that, because the two dolls discovered beneath a large clump of fern that there was lots of houses, but big people can't see them. Perhaps the woodland creatures, fairies and everything, having magic about their dells, which kept for sure people from seeing them and talking to them. Beloved Belinda and Uncle Clem have bright little button eyes. Uncle Clem had black ones, and beloved Belinda had white ones, and with these they could see very well. Now, who do you suspect lived in that cunning little house, beloved Belinda? Uncle Clem asked, bending over and sweeping the ferns aside to peek through. Oh my, I could never guess, Uncle Clem replied, beloved Belinda. It's too small for a gnome's house and too large for a fairy house. Let's knock at the door. So Uncle Clem and beloved Belinda crept beneath the ferns, and Uncle Clem tapped on the tiny door with his soft rag hand. The little door opened, and Tiny Elf stood at the doorway. Why, it's beloved Belinda and Uncle Clem, he laughed in a tinkly little voice. Won't you come inside? Thank you, Eddie Elf, said beloved Belinda. We hope you might ask us in, for we had never been inside an elf home before. So Eddie Elf touched the dolls with his little elfin wand, and they became so small they could walk right in without stooping. How do you happen to be in the deep woods, said Eddie Elf. Oh, said Uncle Clem, you know, beloved Belinda and I have been on adventures, Eddie Elf, and we know the deep woods is the best place to find them. And the great yellow meadow too, Eddie Elf laughed, and he pointed to the door and asked, can you guess where that little door goes, beloved Belinda and Uncle Clem? Oh, maybe the door leads into your garden. Eddie Elf, said Uncle Clem. No siree, Bob. Eddie Elf chuckled. It's much too fine a door to be that. That little door was made for me by the Queen Fairy. And if you two friends really wish for adventure, I'll let you walk through it. Uncle Clem looked at Beloved Belinda. Beloved Belinda looked at Uncle Clem, and their button eyes danced with excitement. Oh, Eddie Elf, do you really mean it? Said both dolls. Indeed I do, Eddie Elf said, and if I do not have to attend to a lot of things right away, I would have gone with you, for I like adventures like everybody else. I can sure tell you. Eddie Elf handed Uncle Clem a little white bean with a little black spot on it. It's a wishing bean, Uncle Clem. Don't lose it, Eddie Elf said. Indeed I shan't. Uncle Clem promised, and he hid the magic bean in his hat. Eddie Elf held the little door open, and Beloved Belinda and Uncle Clem, after thanking him kindly, walked through the little door and down the flight of stairs. There was a sharp turn at the stairs at the bottom and another little door. Upon opening this, Beloved Belinda and Uncle Clem looked out to the large field. It was a field that had a great little shiny ponies in it. And when the dolls closed the door, they walked up to the ponies, and they saw the ponies were made out of wood and painted in bright colors. The wooden ponies had pretty little saddles on them and seemed ready to ride. So Uncle Clem called, "Here, little ponies! Here, little ponies!" And the little ponies came right up to the dolls. "I wonder if we might ride them, Beloved Belinda?" Uncle Clem asked. I suppose we can, Beloved Belinda replied, "if those little ponies don't kick up their heels and throw us off. We can't be hurt, so let's try." Do you know why they can't be hurt? Yes, you remember. They're made out of material and cotton. Okay, let's see. Uncle Clem helped her to get on the little pony with a round stomach and climbed upon the other little wooden pony with a round stomach. So there is Eddie Elf. He has his magic back door. They're going out to the magic field. Okay, so we're going to leave it right there, right where Eddie Elf leaves them at the back door. And we're going to find out tomorrow what they find and if the ponies will let them ride. Okay, so I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.